There comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes that peace is far more valuable than attention, and growth is more powerful than validation. When you stop trying to prove your worth to people who never cared to understand it, you begin to discover what it means to truly live for yourself. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you finally understand that pouring from an empty cup serves no one. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people think that when a woman stays silent, she is weak, powerless, or submissive. But the truth is, silence is one of the most powerful forms of strength a woman can possess. It takes immense self-control, maturity, and emotional intelligence to hold your peace when your instinct tells you to respond, defend, or explain. Silence is not about being passive, it's about being purposeful. It's choosing peace over chaos, wisdom over reaction, and dignity over drama. When you choose silence, you're not giving others permission to walk over you. You're simply choosing not to lower your energy to their level. It's easy to argue, to react, or to try to prove your point. But it takes true power to stay composed when you're misunderstood or disrespected. Your silence speaks volumes because it shows that you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are guided by your strength. There's a quiet kind of confidence that lives in a woman who doesn't feel the need to respond to every insult or correct every false story. She knows who she is, and she understands that truth doesn't need defending. When you are grounded in self-awareness, you realize that not every battle deserves your energy. Sometimes, walking away in silence is the loudest statement you can make. It tells the world, I am not available for anything that disrupts my peace. In today's world, where everyone feels the need to respond instantly, to prove a point on social media, or to clap back at negativity, silence becomes a form of rebellion. It sets you apart. It gives you power because it shows that you are in control of yourself. When you stop reacting, you take away other people's control over your emotions. They no longer get to dictate how you feel, how you act, or how you see yourself. Silence also allows you to think clearly. When you're not busy arguing or explaining, your mind has space to reflect and observe. You begin to see the truth behind people's behavior. You start recognizing who is worth your energy and who isn't. You understand that some people thrive on drama, and the best way to starve that energy is to stay silent. They can't argue with someone who refuses to engage. They can't manipulate someone who's at peace with herself. Being silent also teaches patience. It helps you realize that timing is everything. You don't have to react immediately. Sometimes silence gives you the time to process things properly before you decide your next step. It gives you clarity to respond wisely instead of emotionally. This ability to pause and reflect before acting is one of the highest forms of self-mastery. Furthermore, silence protects your dignity. When you choose not to engage in negativity, gossip, or conflict, you rise above it. You show that your peace, your mental health, and your goals are more important than being right or being heard in every situation. People may misunderstand your silence. They may even think you're weak. But deep down, your silence unsettles them because they cannot control someone who refuses to play their game. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the presence of strength. It's knowing when to speak and when to hold back. It's using your energy strategically, saving it for what truly matters. It's not about suppressing your voice. It's about mastering your responses. But when a woman learns this, she becomes unstoppable. Think about the times you reacted impulsively and regretted it later. Those moments teach us that silence could have protected our peace. Every argument, every fight, every attempt to prove ourselves drains emotional energy that could be used for self-growth, career goals, or inner healing. When you choose silence, you redirect that energy inward, toward becoming wiser, calmer, and more powerful. A silent woman who knows her worth is unshakable. She doesn't chase attention, validation, or approval. Her presence speaks louder than her words. Her peace intimidates those who feed on chaos, and her calmness confuses those who expect her to break. When she walks away silently, she teaches others that she values her peace more than their opinions. In the end, silence is not just a reaction, it's a strategy. It's a reminder that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. When you learn to be silent, you also learn to listen to yourself, to your intuition, and to what life is trying to teach you. And that wisdom is far more powerful than any argument could ever be. So, embrace your silence. Let it protect you, empower you, and speak for you. Because a woman who knows when to stay silent is a woman who has mastered herself, and that kind of power is unbreakable. Focusing on personal growth over validation is one of the most liberating and transformative decisions a woman can make. From a young age, many women are conditioned to seek approval from family, friends, society, or relationships. You're told how to look, how to act, how to speak, and even how to dream. Over time, this creates a habit of constantly seeking validation, waiting for others to tell you that you're good enough, beautiful enough, or successful enough. But true confidence doesn't come from being liked or accepted. It comes from knowing who you are, even when no one is clapping for you. When you focus on personal growth instead of validation, you shift your entire mindset. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and start asking, "What will make me grow?" This change is powerful because it puts you back in control of your life. You're no longer living according to someone else's expectations. You're living according to your purpose. Personal growth is not about proving yourself to others. It's about improving yourself for yourself. Validation is temporary. It fades as quickly as it comes. People's opinions change, and if you build your self-worth around them, you'll constantly feel unstable. One day they love you, and the next day they criticize you. But growth is lasting. When you invest in your own development, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you build something that can't be taken away. Your confidence stops depending on how others see you, because you know your worth from within. A woman focused on growth wakes up each day asking how she can be better than she was yesterday. She's not competing with anyone else, she's competing with her past self. She invests her time in learning, reading, reflecting, and building. She understands that validation is external, but growth is internal. Validation feeds your ego, but growth feeds your soul. And the more you feed your soul, the more peaceful, grounded, and self-assured you become. Focusing on personal growth also means learning to sit with yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your flaws, and your dreams. It means taking responsibility for your healing instead of waiting for someone to fix you. Growth requires honesty. It forces you to face your fears, to admit where you've been wrong, and to forgive yourself for the times you settled for less. It's not always comfortable, but it's worth it. Because every time you choose growth, you choose yourself. When you seek validation, you give others power over your happiness. You let them decide how you should feel about yourself. But when you focus on growth, you reclaim that power. You no longer need anyone to tell you that you're enough. You already know it. You no longer chase approval. You attract respect. You no longer try to fit into places that require you to shrink. You walk boldly into spaces that match your energy. Growth also teaches you patience. You understand that becoming the best version of yourself takes time. There will be days of doubt, setbacks, and silence. But in those moments, instead of giving up, you remind yourself that progress is not always visible. It's happening beneath the surface. Like a seed growing underground, your transformation begins quietly long before the world sees it. When you focus on growth, you also attract different kinds of people. You stop connecting with those who drain your energy and start connecting with those who inspire you. You no longer settle for relationships that keep you small. Instead, you seek out people who challenge you, support your goals, and celebrate your evolution. Growth changes your circle because it changes your energy. Most importantly, when you prioritize personal growth over validation, you redefine success. You no longer measure it by likes, compliments, or applause. Success becomes about peace, balance, and fulfillment. You find joy in progress, not perfection. You celebrate small wins because you understand that every step forward counts. You realize that your journey is unique, and comparison only distracts you from your own purpose. A woman who focuses on growth becomes unstoppable because she no longer needs the world's approval to feel worthy. She learns that validation from others is fleeting, but validation from within is eternal. Her confidence radiates naturally because it's rooted in authenticity, not performance. Her peace becomes her priority, and her growth becomes her identity. So, focus on your personal growth, learn something new, heal from old wounds, chase your dreams, and protect your energy. Stop waiting for others to see your worth. See it for yourself, because the day you stop chasing validation is the day you start becoming the woman you were always meant to be. Your value isn't determined by who approves of you, it's defined by who you become when you finally start growing for yourself, not for the world. Protecting your energy and boundaries is one of the most vital acts of self-love a woman can practice. In a world that constantly demands your time, attention, and emotional strength, learning to guard your peace is not optional, it's essential. Too often, women are taught to please everyone, to say yes, even when they're exhausted, and to carry the emotional weight of others at the expense of their own well-being. But protecting your energy means realizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It means choosing yourself, even when others don't understand why. Your energy is sacred. It fuels your mind, your emotions, and your purpose. When you give it freely to people who drain it, you end up feeling depleted, resentful, and disconnected from yourself. Protecting your energy begins with understanding that not everyone deserves access to you. Some people come into your life to inspire and uplift you, while others come to take and drain without giving back. You must learn to recognize the difference and set boundaries that guard your peace. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. They don't keep love out, they keep toxicity out. They define where you end and where others begin. Without boundaries, you lose your sense of self because you're constantly adjusting to meet the needs and expectations of others. You end up saying yes when you mean no, tolerating disrespect just to avoid conflict, and sacrificing your peace to maintain relationships that no longer serve you. But when you establish boundaries, you reclaim your power. You send a clear message: my energy is valuable, and I will not waste it where it's not respected. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of what you allow into your space, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Sometimes the people who drain you are not strangers, they're loved ones, co-workers, or friends who constantly bring negativity, gossip, or drama into your life. You may not be able to control their behavior, but you can control your exposure to it. You can decide how much of your time, attention, and heart they receive. But limiting your access to toxic energy is not rude, it's responsible. It's also important to protect your energy from your own thoughts. Self-doubt, guilt, and overthinking can be just as draining as toxic people. Many women struggle with feeling guilty for setting boundaries, fearing they'll be seen as selfish or cold. But there's nothing selfish about taking care of yourself. In fact, it's one of the most selfless things you can do, because when you're at peace, you can love, create, and give more authentically. Protecting your energy isn't about pushing people away. It's about making sure you have enough strength to show up fully for yourself and for the people who truly matter. You also protect your energy by being selective about where you focus your attention. Not every comment deserves a response, not every argument deserves your time, and not every invitation deserves a yes. Choose wisely. Every no you say to things that drain you is a yes to your peace. Every time you walk away from something that doesn't align with your values, you strengthen your sense of self-respect. When you start enforcing boundaries, people will notice. Some will respect them, but while others will resist them, especially those who benefited from your lack of boundaries before. Don't let that discourage you. The people who truly love and value you will understand. Those who get upset when you prioritize your peace are the ones who thrived on your lack of it. Remember, you are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You are responsible for maintaining them. Protecting your energy also means taking care of your environment. Surround yourself with people, habits, and spaces that make you feel calm, inspired, and supported. Disconnect from negativity, whether it comes from social media conversations or your own routines. Spend more time doing things that recharge your spirit, reading, journaling, meditating, exercising, or simply being alone in peace. But energy protection isn't just emotional, it's holistic. Ultimately, protecting your energy is about honoring your worth. It's about saying, I deserve peace. I deserve respect. I deserve to feel whole. When you begin living with that mindset, you stop settling for less. You stop explaining why you need space. You stop apologizing for choosing yourself. You realize that protecting your energy is not about isolation. It's about preservation. It's how you ensure that your light keeps shining, even in a world that tries to dim it. So, protect your energy fiercely and unapologetically. Set boundaries that honor your growth and peace. Walk away from anything that drains your soul, even if it's difficult. You don't owe anyone your constant availability or emotional labor. The moment you start guarding your energy, you'll feel a shift, a calmness, a clarity, a power. Because the truth is, when a woman protects her energy, she protects her power, and nothing is more radiant, unstoppable, or untouchable than a woman who values her peace above all else. Letting your actions speak louder than words is one of the most graceful and powerful ways to move through life. In a world where everyone is talking, posting, and proving, there's something deeply magnetic about a woman who simply acts, achieves, and lets her results do the talking. You don't need to announce every move, defend every choice, or explain every dream. Silence paired with consistent action becomes a force that commands respect without demanding it. When you rely too much on words, you invite unnecessary judgment and resistance. People will always have opinions, and not everyone will understand your vision. Some will doubt you, some will envy you, and others will try to discourage you. That's why your energy is better spent building than explaining. Words can be doubted, but results cannot. When your growth becomes visible, when your progress becomes undeniable, you no longer have to convince anyone. You simply show them through your success. A woman who lets her actions speak for her understands the value of focus. She doesn't waste energy on arguments or validation. Instead, she channels her time into her goals, her self-improvement, and her inner peace. She knows that true confidence is quiet and insecurity is loud. When you're truly focused on building something meaningful, you don't have time to convince others of your worth. You're too busy becoming it. Actions carry an energy that words can never match. They create credibility, inspire others, and silence doubters. People may not believe what you say, but they will always believe what you do. When you consistently show up for yourself, honor your commitments, and stay disciplined, you send a message to the world and to yourself that you are serious about your growth. You no longer need to prove your intentions because your progress proves them for you. There is also deep peace in moving quietly, and not everyone deserves access to your plans. The more you talk, the more you expose your energy to unnecessary opinions and interference. Some people don't want to see you win. They want to see you distracted. That's why silence protects dreams. It allows you to build in private and reveal only when you're ready. When your vision is still forming, guard it. Let your actions be the announcement, not your words. Letting your actions speak louder also means showing integrity. Your words and actions must align. If you promise something, deliver it. If you set a goal, commit to it fully. When your actions match your words, people learn to trust you. And more importantly, you learn to trust yourself. Confidence grows every time you follow through. You begin to believe in your own strength because you've proven it through action, not just intention. This approach doesn't mean you must be silent forever. It means you choose when to speak and when to act. There's power in knowing the difference. Talking about your dreams can be motivating, but acting on them is transformative. Talking about change feels good, but living it builds character. The real growth happens when you shift from speaking about what you'll do someday to actually doing it today. Another reason why action is more powerful than words is because energy doesn't lie. You can say you're confident, but your habits will reveal the truth. You can say you're focused, but your discipline will show it. You can say you're healing, but your peace will prove it. Actions reflect your inner world. If you want to change your life, don't talk about it, change your behavior. Show up differently, think differently, and the results will naturally follow. When you choose to lead with action, you also become an example for others. You inspire silently. You show people what's possible without preaching it. There's something incredibly empowering about being a living example of resilience, patience, and dedication. You don't need to tell people you're strong. They can see it in how you carry yourself. You don't need to tell them you're focused. They can feel it in your consistency. At the same time, but letting your actions speak louder doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you pick your battles wisely. Instead of wasting time defending your name, you protect your peace and continue building. The truth always reveals itself through time and action. You don't need to correct every misconception. Life has a way of showing people the truth about you. Your calmness, your progress, and your results will do all the explaining for you. Ultimately, letting your actions speak louder than words is a mindset of quiet strength. It's choosing to prove yourself through progress, not through talk. It's about staying disciplined when no one is watching and staying humble when success comes. You learn that real power doesn't need attention. It radiates naturally. So, stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand you. Stop trying to convince anyone of your worth. Work on your dreams in silence. Heal quietly. Build your peace privately. Then, when the time comes, let your success echo louder than any argument ever could. Because at the end of the day, people may forget what you said, but they'll never forget what you did. Embracing solitude and self-discovery is one of the most powerful and healing journeys a woman can take. In a world that constantly demands connection, validation, and noise, choosing to be alone can feel uncomfortable at first. But solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. It's the sacred space where you meet yourself without distraction, but where you rediscover who you truly are when no one else's voice is influencing your thoughts. But every woman deserves this quiet chapter in her life, a season of stillness where she learns to be her own home. When you embrace solitude, you stop running from yourself. Many people fear being alone because they've never truly sat with their emotions. They fill their days with distractions, social media, noise, and relationships just to avoid facing what's within. But growth happens when you stop escaping and start listening to your thoughts, your pain, your desires, and your dreams. Solitude gives you that space to listen deeply and honestly. It reveals what needs healing, what needs to change, and what truly matters to you. Self-discovery is not about finding something new. It's about remembering what has always been there. When you remove the noise, you begin to see your authentic self clearly. You remember your passions, your boundaries, your values, and your strength. You realize how much of your life was shaped by other people's expectations, what to wear, how to speak, what to believe, and even what to dream. Solitude gives you the power to rewrite your story, this time for yourself. Being alone also teaches independence in the most empowering way. You learn that you don't need constant company or approval to feel complete. You begin to enjoy your own presence. You take yourself out, treat yourself kindly, and give yourself the love you once expected from others. You become your own source of joy, peace, and validation. And when you reach that level of inner fulfillment, you no longer settle for half-hearted relationships or temporary attention, because you already know what complete feels like. Solitude is also where self-respect grows. When you spend time alone, you become more aware of what drains or uplifts you. You learn to say no without guilt and to walk away from people or situations that no longer align with your peace. You realize that your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves access to it. This level of self-awareness strengthens your boundaries and gives you emotional freedom. You no longer chase what doesn't serve you, you attract what matches your growth. In solitude, you also find your inner voice, the one that gets drowned out in the noise of the world. It's the voice of your intuition, your wisdom, your truth. But when you learn to trust that voice, you stop second-guessing yourself. You stop living for others' opinions and start living in alignment with your purpose. That's when real confidence begins to bloom, not the kind that needs to be seen, but the kind that radiates quietly from within. Spending time alone also allows creativity and inspiration to flourish. Some of the most brilliant ideas, dreams, and breakthroughs happen in silence. When you are still, your mind expands. You see possibilities that once felt impossible. You reconnect with your imagination, your goals, and your potential. You realize that solitude is not empty. It's full of answers, waiting for you to slow down and listen. But embracing solitude doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting love. It means you are complete on your own, and any relationship you enter becomes a choice, not a necessity. You no longer depend on others to fill your emotional gaps because you've learned how to fill them yourself. This makes your relationships healthier because they're built on mutual respect, not dependency. You love from wholeness, not from need. There's also a deep peace that comes with solitude. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you stop fearing being alone. You stop rushing into toxic connections or meaningless distractions just to fill a void. You start cherishing your quiet mornings, your slow evenings, but your walks in nature, or your moments of reflection. You begin to understand that solitude isn't the absence of love, it's the presence of self-love. Embracing solitude and self-discovery transforms you from within. It makes you more self-aware, more grounded, and more powerful. It allows you to know exactly who you are, what you want, and what you deserve. You no longer tolerate chaos because you've found comfort and calm. You no longer beg for attention because you've found peace in your own presence. And when you finally return to the world after that journey of solitude, you come back stronger, radiating the quiet confidence of a woman who knows herself deeply. So, take time for solitude. Don't fear being alone. Embrace it. Turn off the noise, disconnect from distractions, and reconnect with yourself. Fall in love with your own company. Nurture your mind and listen to your soul. Because once you've discovered who you are in silence, No one can ever make you forget it again. A woman who has found peace in solitude becomes untouchable. Her power doesn't come from others, it comes from within. Peace and focus are the ultimate revenge. When someone wrongs you, underestimates you, or tries to break your spirit, your calmness and determination become the most powerful response you can give. In a world where people expect you to react, staying composed is a form of mastery, and when you take that calm energy and channel it into your goals, your success becomes the sweetest answer to everything they tried to take from you. Revenge doesn't have to be loud, bitter, or destructive. The best kind of revenge is silent. It's living well, growing stronger, and becoming everything they said you couldn't be. When you focus on peace, you protect your energy from being wasted on negativity. And when you focus on your goals, you use that same energy to build something meaningful. Over time, the people who tried to bring you down will have no choice but to watch you rise. Not because you fought them, but because you outgrew them. Peace is a power that very few people understand. It's not about avoiding conflict, it's about refusing to let chaos control you. When you reach a level of inner calm, nothing outside of you can easily shake you. You stop reacting to every insult. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't care to understand, and you stop seeking closure from people who were never capable of giving it. You begin to see that your peace is your strength. It keeps you centered while everything else tries to pull you off balance. There's something deeply unsettling to those who expect your anger and receive your silence instead. Your peace confuses them because they realize they no longer have control over your emotions. The moment you stop reacting, you reclaim your power. They can no longer manipulate you, provoke you, or distract you. You rise above their chaos, and that's what truly defeats them. Peace, therefore, becomes your quiet form of revenge. It shows that you've evolved beyond the reach of their negativity. Focus, on the other hand, transforms that peace into progress. It's not enough to stay calm, you must also stay committed. When you focus on your dreams instead of your distractions, you turn your pain into purpose. Every time you choose to work on yourself rather than dwell on what hurt you, you take another step forward. Focus is what separates those who stay stuck from those who grow stronger. It's the discipline to keep your eyes on your future instead of your past. Think of focus as your weapon and peace as your armor. Together they make you unstoppable. Peace keeps you emotionally grounded, while focus keeps you mentally sharp. When you combine the two, you no longer waste energy reacting to negativity. You use it to build something powerful. Every time you stay silent and work harder, you're writing your own comeback story. You don't need to announce it. The results will do the talking. It's easy to let anger take over when you're hurt or betrayed. But anger consumes more than it creates. It steals your clarity, your sleep, and your joy. The people who hurt you don't deserve that kind of power over your peace. The most effective way to get even is not to hurt them back. It's to show them that nothing they did could stop you. That's real victory. When they see you glowing, achieving, and living freely, they'll realize their efforts were wasted. Your peace and focus will speak louder than any confrontation ever could. Choosing peace and focus doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you outgrow it. You stop allowing pain to define you. You stop replaying the same stories in your mind. Instead, you learn from them, you grow, and you move forward with purpose. You become wiser, stronger, and more intentional with your time and energy. The more you focus on your growth, the less space negativity has to live in your life. And here's the beautiful truth: peace and focus don't just silence your enemies. They heal you. They help you rebuild your self-worth and rediscover your purpose. You realize that every challenge was preparing you for something greater. You understand that your success doesn't have to be a loud victory. It can be a calm, steady rise that no one sees coming until it's too late. So, the next time someone tries to hurt you, doubt you, or bring you down, don't react, refocus. Don't argue, align. Don't chase revenge. Choose peace. Keep your energy sacred, your mind clear, and your heart steady. Keep building, keep healing, keep moving, because eventually your peace will disturb their chaos, and your focus will turn your pain into power. That's the kind of revenge that lasts, the kind that doesn't destroy you but transforms you. Let your calmness be your strength, your silence be your statement, and your success be your response. Because a woman who protects her peace and focuses on her purpose becomes untouchable, and no one can compete with a woman who has made peace her priority and focus her lifestyle.